Pandu's heart brimmed with joy as he spent his days playing with his newborn son, Yudhishtira. It had been years since such happiness had touched his life, and with each passing moment, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. His once troubled spirit, long burdened by regret and sorrow, was now uplifted by the presence of the child in his arms. His laughter echoed through the forest as he delighted in every moment with Yudhishtira, feeling as though all his worries had melted away. Meanwhile, Kunti, though joyful for Pandu, found herself weighed down by inner turmoil. The secret of her firstborn, Karna, tugged at her heart. Should she reveal the truth about the child she had borne before her marriage to Pandu? She could feel the immense happiness radiating from her husband, happiness she hadn't seen in years. The thought of disrupting his newfound joy haunted her. Unable to bear the possibility of shattering his peace, she decided to bury the truth deep within her heart, keeping the secret of her firstborn to herself. Madri, too, carried her own silent burdens. Seeing Kunti with a child stirred feelings of insecurity within her. Though she longed to experience the same joy of motherhood, she hid her emotions behind a veil of kindness. She treated Yudhisthira with affection, masking her inner conflict with smiles and tender gestures. Outwardly, she embraced her role in the growing family, but inwardly, she grappled with the fear of being left behind. As Pandu basked in the joy of fatherhood, a thought gnawed at the edges of his mind. He knew that his brother, Dhritarashtra, would soon have 100 sons, and though Yudhisthira was now his firstborn, he wondered if it would be enough. His heart stirred with unease. He visited the sages in the ashram, seeking their wisdom, and shared his thoughts with them. If Dhritarashtra was to have 100 sons, what did it mean for Yudhisthira? Could one child stand strong amidst a sea of brothers who might either support or turn against him? The sages listened to Pandu's concerns and offered their counsel. If he wished to secure Yudhisthira's future, they advised, he needed a son who could match the strength of Dhritarashtra's 100 heirs combined. A son so powerful that he could protect Yudhisthira and ensure his place as a rightful leader. The words of the sages resonated deeply with Pandu, stirring him to reflect on what was required for his son's future. He pondered the nature of kingship and power. Yudhisthira, as the firstborn, will embody righteousness, patience, and peace, qualities essential for a just ruler. Yet, Pandu knew that such virtues alone would not be enough to maintain power in a world filled with intrigue and conflict. Even among his 100 cousins, Yudhisthira could not assume loyalty. Some might stand by him, but others could very well oppose him. It was clear to Pandu that his son would need more than just virtues. He would need strength by his side, a brother with unmatched power, capable of handling any threat or challenge that might arise. With these thoughts weighing heavily on his mind, Pandu contemplated which divine power could grant him such a son. He needed a deity whose strength was unparalleled, a force of nature that could never be contained. As he sifted through the pantheon of gods in his thoughts, his mind settled on the one he believed to be the most powerful. Vayudeva, the god of the wind. Vayudeva is one of the most powerful forces of nature, an unstoppable and invisible entity that governs the very breath of life and the stormy wrath of the skies. Vayu's presence can be gentle, a soft breeze that cools the earth and carries the fragrance of flowers. Yet, when provoked, His power is unmatched, transforming into a raging tempest that can uproot trees, topple mountains, and sweep entire cities into ruin. In a flash, Vayu can reduce thriving forests to mere memories, flattening all in his path. His destructive force, carried by hurricanes, tornadoes, and storms, brings both chaos and awe, a reminder that the wind holds the power of both creation and devastation in its hands. With clarity in his heart and a resolute purpose, Pandu sought out Kunti, eager to share his thoughts. He expressed to her the realization that while righteousness and virtue were essential traits of a king, it was valor that earned a ruler the respect of both allies and enemies. Yudhishtira, with his deep sense of justice, will embody the qualities of patience and peace. Yet these alone were not enough to command the loyalty of men or to confront the challenges of leadership. A ruler must be revered for his strength, and for this reason, Pandu gently requested Kunti to use her divine boon once more, a call upon Vayudeva, the god of wind, to bless them with a son who would possess unmatched power. Kunti listened to her husband's words, and though a deep hesitation stirred within her, she knew she could not refuse his request. The thought of bearing children through divine unions, though sacred, filled her with unease. Yet, the sight of the happiness Pandu now carried, happiness she had not seen in years, moved her heart. She resolved to honor his request, for the good of her family and to ensure Yudhisthira would have the brotherly strength needed to face the trials of the future. After performing the necessary purification rites, Kunti immersed herself in the sacred waters of a nearby lake. The cold waters cleansed her mind and body, preparing her for the divine encounter. She ascended the same mountain peak where she had previously invoked Yama. Standing atop the summit, with the sky stretched endlessly above her, she closed her eyes and began to chant the powerful mantra given to her by the sage Vyasa. The moment her words filled the air, the winds began to howl, as if summoned from the farthest corners of the world. The skies darkened, and clouds gathered swiftly overhead. The air around her thickened with divine energy, and from within the swirling storm descended Vayudeva. His presence was both serene and powerful, like the breath of a storm held still for a fleeting moment. Without words, Kunti and Vayudeva came together in sacred union, bound by destiny and purpose. The process of conception, which would typically span months, was completed in mere moments through the divine grace of Satyavati, the instant birth. In the blink of an eye, the formation of the child within Kunti's womb reached completion. With a sudden, sharp pang, the child entered the world, born of wind and strength. Kunti cradled her newborn son in her arms, marveling at his weight. Though an infant, he was extraordinarily heavy, as if the very essence of Vayu's power had been imbued into his being. His presence was overwhelming, and Kunti could feel the raw energy that radiated from the boy. Pandu, upon seeing his second son, his heart swelled with even greater joy. The sight of the child, born through divine grace and destined for greatness, filled him with hope. The sages, drawn by the divine vibrations that accompanied the boy's birth, came to see the newborn. As they examined him, a sense of goodness and strength emanated from the child, filling them with an unspoken reassurance. After conferring among themselves, the sages decided upon a name for the boy, Vrikodara. This name was derived from two Sanskrit words, Vrika, meaning wolf, and Udara, meaning belly or stomach. The name, meaning the one with the belly of a wolf, was given to him because the child's stomach, slightly concave and firm, resembled the lean, powerful belly of a wolf. Pandu, filled with gratitude and joy, embraced both his sons, knowing that destiny was unfolding as it should. With Vrikodara at Yudhishtira's side, the future seemed brighter, and the challenges ahead, though inevitable, now felt surmountable. On the third day following Vrikodara's birth, a messenger arrived from Hastinapura carrying important news. Pandu was eager to hear the latest from the capital. The messenger revealed that Dhritarashtra's firstborn son had entered the world and was named Dhuryodhana. Pandu realized that Dhuryodhana and Vrikodara had been born on the same day, but Dhuryodhana's birth had occurred first. Though it seemed a small difference, Pandu knew that this subtle order carried immense significance, hinting at the power struggles that might arise within the Kuru dynasty. The messenger then informed Pandu that during his journey from Hastinapura, 2 more sons had likely been born to Dhritarashtra. Sage Veda Vyasa had foretold that Gandhari's sons would emerge from the pots gradually, likely 1 or more each day, and that the entire process would take approximately 100 days to yield all 100 children. Before departing, the messenger presented Pandu with a flock of trained pigeons. The messenger explained that these birds would allow Pandu to send messages swiftly to Hastinapura, ensuring that communication with the palace remained uninterrupted. Pandu accepted the pigeons with gratitude, knowing that staying connected with the royal court would be vital in the coming days. With his task complete, the messenger mounted his horse and began the return journey to Hastinapura, carrying with him the news of Vrikodara's birth. As Pandu watched the messenger disappear along the forest path, he knew that the destiny of his sons and Dhritarashtra's children was now intertwined, and the unfolding events would shape the future of the Kuru dynasty in ways no one could yet foresee. In Hastinapura, developments were unfolding in the royal household. Sugadha, Gandhari's maid, who had become pregnant by Dhritarashtra, gave birth to a son. The child was named Yuyutsu, a name derived from 2 Sanskrit words. Yu, meaning to strive or to seek, and itsu, a suffix indicating desire or intent. Thus, Yuyutsu's name meant one who desires to seek, reflecting a spirit of purpose and ambition. Yuyutsu's birth took place immediately after Dhuryodhana, making him the second child of Dhritarashtra, but through a different mother. His arrival occurred just before the second son of Gandhari emerged from the pot. Yuyutsu's presence in the royal lineage added a subtle complexity, for although he was born of a maid, he still carried Dhritarashtra's blood and was considered part of the Kuru lineage. Shortly after Yuyutsu's birth, the next child from Gandhari's 100 pots was born. The pot cracked open and a boy emerged, healthy and strong. The sages gathered to bless the newborn, and it was Kripacharya who gave him the name Dushasan. The name was formed from 2 Sanskrit words, du, meaning hard to oppose or irreversible, and shasana, meaning final order or command. Together, Dushasana signified one whose command cannot be opposed, a name that carried the weight of authority and unyielding will. Upon hearing the messenger's words, repeating that each day Dhritarashtra's sons would be born, Pandu's heart stirred with a growing dissatisfaction. Though he had already known that Dhritarashtra was destined to have 100 sons, hearing it again now, spoken aloud, unsettled him deeply. The thought of his brother's lineage expanding day by day ignited a restless yearning within him. Though Pandu was blessed with 2 sons, Yudhishtira, embodying righteousness, and Vrikodara, possessing immense strength, his mind began to drift toward the idea of a 3rd son, one destined to be the greatest warrior in the world. Pandu reflected deeply on the nature of fate, godly blessings, and human deeds. He understood that the world rests upon the interplay of divine will and human effort. It was not enough to rely on the mercy of the gods alone. One must act decisively, recognizing opportunities when they arose and seizing them. The boon granted to Kunti, allowing her to summon gods and receive children through them, was an opportunity Pandu was determined to make the most of. He knew that the favor of the gods would come only to those who took initiative, acted with purpose, and capitalized on the moments fate presented.